Hello, my name is James Williams Jr. It is December 16th, 2015, and I'm going to talk about some superhero stuff. And I'm probably going to upset a few people. And if Marvel or DC wants to give me a job, I'm wide open to suggestions. I'm more of a Marvel fan than a DC fan. And I want to get this out there. I'm sure whenever this gets on my YouTube site, you'll all be pissed off anyway, so I don't give a fuck. Okay, so as you know, as of lately, Marvel has been ruling the big screen. You know, with the Disney backing them, and they'll never be out of stories to write as long as they base it on Marvel comics. And, hands up to Agents of Shield. Even though there've been a ass load of changes. Myself being a product of the 70s, 80s, and DC Comics was the first thing I ever read, but I became a Marvel fan mostly thanks to Spider-Man and the X-Men. The X-Men's life basically is like it's about prejudice and racism, and it's probably why I can relate to them more. Spider-Man's life is basically the same thing about bullying and issues in high school that we all have faced, unless you were the guys doing the bullying and everything. And DC has made one hell of a comeback on the small screen. They have like 4 shows out. I don't know if they're all produced by the same company that runs DC, but Supergirl's a badass show. Gotham, The Rise of the Villains, pretty good. Flash and Arrow, and soon they'll have Legends of Tomorrow. So if this airs before that, then cool. If it airs after that, then cool. And if I hurt anybody's feelings, well, fuck you. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not really sorry. I'm not really trying to be apologetic, and I'm not really trying to be a dick. I'm just gonna voice my opinion and pray you guys understand I like it. Alright, let's go with DC first. Alright, I love Arrow. I'm probably never going to be on Arrow, and especially after this report. A lot of the things I don't really remember a lot about Oliver Queen. I'm pretty sure he was the only child, and then he has 2 illegitimate childs, and I think he has 3. But I still love the show, regardless of how they've acknowledged it for TV audiences or whatever. And he doesn't have those like arrows that explode and have like boxing gloves on them and punch people and everything. And he is non-lethal. I will say that a lot of his enemies after the first season has been Bruce Wayne's enemies, which goes to show that I'm really not that knowledgeable of Arrow. I don't remember him and Deathstroke ever having a problem, but hey, it's been working out so far. I know damn well that he had nothing to do with Ra's al Ghul, but hey, it is what it is because they can't really use Bruce Wayne in Gotham if he's an 8-year-old kid or a 12-year-old kid or whatever they're making him. Now, love Arrow. Don't get me wrong. Hands off to Stephen Amell and the whole damn cast. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm never gonna get a job with them. Mostly because I'm more of a Marvel fan than I am a DC fan. And though my surrogate father was more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan, I collected and gained the bulk of his comics. Now, um, we'll say that it's damn good. Moving on, I love the new Flash. I especially love the new Flash that they put back members of the old Flash, Amanda Pays and John Wesley Shipp, who was the original Flash babe back when I was like in high school and stuff. And I've followed Wesley Shipp since he was on soap operas or whatever, before they had VCRs and shit. Didn't pay to get sick at my mom's house. Clean the house, watch soap operas, tell her what happened at the end. Now, I will say so far, I don't remember all of the Flash's enemies outside of Gorilla God. I didn't read any of the new 52s or whatever, so I can't complain. I will give them kudos though for adding more people of color to the Flash universe and making Wally black and making Iris black was a fucking plus. It's like, oh, cool. So like I said, maybe it's from the new 52s because when I used to read The Flash, everybody was white. No offense, everybody's white. And I'm not a real big fan of change, you know. But I guess that kind of opens up the fan base so that more people will be into the Flash, and I respect that a ton. You know. Now let's move on to Gotham. If you are a Batman fan, I'm sorry, Gotham is probably not for you because a lot of the things that's going on in Gotham, I'm like, okay, I know Batman does this, and I know in one world or another, the Joker's the Red Hood, and him and Batman are friends and stuff. And in this world, not so much. And Riddler, when did he become a forensics guy? When he was like a toy maker, and everything's been kind of shaky. Not saying the show's not good, but everything's about Jim Gordon. And as far as my history of reading Batman, I don't recall Gordon meeting, fighting any of them. He's like major league support for the character. But I like the spin. I like the twist. I like the show. And I'm going to end it right there before I offend people. Now let me talk about Supergirl. Love it. Except for like that one little issue when I first started watching it, because I've been watching every episode since it came out. And I knew from the moment that I seen the black guy, I said, that black guy, he's not right. And I'm a serious DC fan when it comes to like John Jones. And before it was revealed, I knew it. And I was like, that black guy is not who he says he is. And then when they had like the few scenes, spoiler alert, people with him and the bomb, and him going after the aliens, locking everybody in the thing. John Jones is from Mars, so he can't. His mind can't really be persuaded by anybody who's not a Martian or a very strong Xavier-style telepath. So I was like, okay, DEO, and I still can't remember what the hell it means, but I'm sitting there like, I don't remember him ever working this closely with Kira, but hey, it's for the story and it's good. It's fan-fucking-tastic. Kind of gives me like that throwback to Smallville, because I really loved Smallville, and I got to see everything except for the last season because I was in the army when the last season was like having its run. And it's off to Smallville, by the way. So I've seen a lot of things in Smallville that Clark did and didn't do in the comics. I'm like, okay, this is new. But they did bring in Blockbuster. No, not Blockbuster. That's Marvel. Excuse me. What the fuck is his name? I don't know his name, but he wasn't Darkseid. They did bring him in too, so I was told. But the guy who killed Superman, they brought him in there. So, like I said, I didn't get to see the last season of Smallville, and I'm gonna catch up with that. They did change a lot of things in there, but you have to uh, stretch the comic truth when you make a show from a comic book. You have to make it more realistic, I guess, and throw a curveball in every now and again, which is always cool. But if you're a comic book fan, most comic book TV shows really are not for you. Now let's switch gears to my favorites, Marvel. And if there's a possible way I could play on Agents of even just one, like 10 seconds, walk on, whatever, I'll gladly take it since I can't do Kung Fu anymore. But, I wouldn't know who the hell I could play because all of the male Native American characters are bad guys except for Forge. I don't think I look old enough to play Forge. Plus, he's not an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think Danielle Moonstar was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Spider-Woman was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., both of them. That would include Jessica Drew and the one that was an Avenger. And I have a whole lot of information, but I don't want to spend up all my time. So, since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is like my favorite show, and Peggy Carter, which I love that too, which I can't wait for that to come right back. I'd love to be on that too, but, I don't think there were any Native American characters dealing with her era. And so, moving on. X-Men and them have ruled the movies. My only complaint on any X-Men movie was X-Men First Class. Because when I heard it was coming, it wasn't the comic book X-Men First Class. There was Beast, but there was no Iceman. There was Havoc when there should have been Cyclops. There was Banshee, but there was no Angel. And then there was Emma Frost, but there was no Jean Grey. And I'm like, what? What are you guys like not consulting with the actual people at Marvel when you're making this? So anyway, no offense to McAvoy and all the great movie, but if you're gonna make the X-Men and you're gonna call it the First Class, with all due respect to everybody in the movie, because I'm not making the movie, I'm not in the movie, and they will probably never give me a job. The first five X-Men: Cyclops, Angel, Beast, Iceman, Jean Grey. The second team of X-Men: Wolverine, Havoc, Polaris, Storm, Colossus, Banshee, Thunderbird, Kitty Pryde, Nightcrawler. I don't think I left anybody out, but those guys were the ones because Thunderbird died in his like second issue debut. Died on a plane. Banshee couldn't save him. So for those who don't know, that First Class was like a clusterfuck of not the right mutants. And then I'm sitting there like, did they even read the first X-Men comic that came out in 1963? Because the guys they had in there, scratch Magneto, because he was not in there. He was a bad guy. They dig into Magneto's past later in the comics, like how him and Xavier were like brothers and all that. But that was like back in their college days, which doesn't really count for anything because they don't mention the Shi'ar Empire. They don't mention Lilandra, who's Charles Xavier's love of his life from another world, etc., etc. So not to overkill that, I like the movie, but I was mad that they didn't have the actual first five X-Men. They had one of them and Xavier. They had Beast, so they got that part right. But those other four kids were not like there. They weren't supposed to be there. And like Magneto did not cripple Xavier. The Shadow King did that. And I'm like, what? Good movie, but that wasn't the X-Men from 1963, which was the First Class. Okay, so I'm probably gonna get like really fucked up shit from actors and critics who were in the movie net. But I read the book. Okay, yeah, I was like not in existence, but when I was old enough to read, I read the book. You know, I'm like, as an X-Men fan and a New Mutants fan and an X-Force fan and an X-Factor fan and an Excalibur fan, I expected more of the First Class to be like literally. You have Xavier before he's crippled. You have Cyclops. You have Beast. You have Angel. You have Iceman. And whoever the hell else I left out. I think I named them all. Jean Grey. So, I'm thinking to myself, and I probably should have named her first since she was the only girl. I'm thinking to myself, when this movie drops, it's going to be the shit. It's going to have the original five. It's going to lead up to where the X-Men were and all that. No. Totally ripped. And with Wolverine, okay, for everybody who's an X-Men fan, he did appear in most of the X-Men books, but his origin story flips back to Alpha Flight. And though I love Wolverine, in real life, him and I are the same size, and he, being Canadian, was cool as hell, because he's like the main Canadian superhero. And then there was the fact that he was Alpha Flight. But in his two movies, he never mentions Alpha Flight at all. And now I'm going to screw you guys all up, because way back before the Sabretooth you guys know, the Sabretooth I knew was just taller than Wolverine. He wasn't like that big burly motherfucker. He wasn't any of that. They weren't brothers. In fact, they were trying to say that Sabretooth was like Wolverine's stepdaddy and stuff. But then when the Inferno saga came, all that stuff that did you know now is when all that stuff happened. Because Sinister got a hold of the Marauders. Because Sabretooth originally was a Marauder. And on his team, there was Scalp Hunter, a Native American. Archlight, I think she was Native American. Harpoon, Riptide, I can't think of the guy's name, but he had on some cool ass shades. And I'm missing like three other people. And Malice had control of Polaris' body. And then when Sinister sent purple demon with the black vest on to get Madeline, who was a Jean Grey clone look-alike. Who's the only reason why Scott was with her is because he thought she was her. You know, it was kind of really fucked up. But if you're a comic book fan, the movies they're good, but they kind of they don't follow the comic book lore, so they kind of bug me up a little bit. So I'm not gonna try to completely insult the guys who made the movie or whatever. But you'd think that y'all would have had like Joe, the guy that like was like the vice president before Disney put everything up, like have him on set to console. And hell, you have Stan Lee in every movie, and Stan Lee, my hero, next to Bruce Lee. But Stan Lee, my hero, the guy that if not for him, I would have never learned how to read. You would think that they would let him have some say in, okay, look, me and Jack Kirby and Mike Ditka, when we drew these guys, you know, first class means first class. Jean Grey, Iceman, Cyclops, Beast, Angel. They should have been in that first class movie. That's my only really real complaint on it. I mean, the movie wasn't bad, no. But you know, the strange mutants like Nightcrawler and them, I have no idea who the fuck they are. And then like Silver Fox and Emma Frost. For all movie purposes, they were related, but in the comic books, they were not. Silver Fox was a mutant of Native American descent in Canada, just like Shaman or Mr. Two Tallman. I forgot what his first name is, but his last name is Two Tallman. They were in Wolverine's past with Alpha Flight and the Weapon X Project, which also, what the hell was her name? Lady Deathstrike. I can't remember her real name, but Lady Deathstrike, who was Wolverine's wife at one point, or one of his wives from Japan, because he had two wives, because one of them killed herself with blowfish poisoning, so the Silver Samurai would not kill Wolverine, and that ended their fight. So, like you said, you know, I wonder if they get like people to like consult them when they write these movies. You know, did they like, okay, this is how this is gonna be, and we don't read the comics, so you need to like fill us in. So I'm pretty sure they probably didn't do that. They're just like, all right, Hollywood's giving us this much money. Let's slap a fucking movie together, throw some comic book characters in there, and pray that it sells. That's pretty much what it sounds like they did. And you know, like I said, I'm not insulting them. As a comic fan, I love the movies, but as a comic fan, I didn't like the stories that they were telling because I'm like, you know, all right, Days of Future Past. One, uh, Blink, I believe was supposed to have been the Asian girl. No. In the comic book, in Days of Future Past, Wolverine and Jubilee were the only two X-Men left. Period. Forge had died. Everybody had died. And the same thing, like, with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. Ah, oh, damn it. I was a big Guardian of the Galaxy fan. The problem is that I am slightly retarded. Now, I say that because the Guardians of the Galaxy I knew was like as many of them as it was X-Men. The problem was the Guardians of the Galaxy I knew was led by Vance Astro or Major Victory, the Captain America's shield, and he couldn't wear. He had like a funky black and white suit with a star in it or something, and he had Captain America's shield. And eventually, he wound up being able to show his face, but he also went to the past to talk to him to make sure that his future turned out differently, and it only got worse, or somehow or another. But anyway, you know, when the Guardians of the Galaxy movie came, I was not expecting Star Lord because he had his own comic book in the late 70s, early 80s. I wasn't expecting Drax or Gamora. I have no idea where the hell they came from. Rocket had his own comic book. In fact, I think he was in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy with Major Victory. And Yondu was not a Ravager. He was actually one of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm like, okay. I was totally confused because the Guardians of the Galaxy I knew they had like these like 15 badasses. And out of the 15 badasses, like maybe 3 of them were chicks, but the dudes were like the shit. Major Victory was the leader. Yondu was second in command. They kicked ass. And that's pretty much it. Just they had a big guy that was like Hammerhead and Colossus kind of combined, but he didn't turn into organic steel. And you know they traveled the galaxy doing their job, you know, which was basically guarding and protecting the galaxy. So when I heard the movie was coming, it totally screwed me up when I got to see the movie. Now, granted, it was a great movie. I loved it completely, especially at the end with the throwback to Howard the fucking Duck, who also was in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy comic books. I can't find it. I don't think I have it, but I know he was there because I read it. So I was like, okay, cool. They brought in Howard the Duck. I think him and Rocket had some issues, but anyway, the long story short, it was a great movie. And I was sitting there, it's like when I heard the rumors of it, I was like, oh cool, Vance Astro's gonna finally get recognition for all the bullshit he went through in New Warriors and everything that led him up to being in the Guardians of the Galaxy, and come to find out, okay, not gonna happen. Totally different people that came in like 2008. Now my problem with that is that I kind of stopped reading comic books back in like 2007, 2006, whenever the hell the Onslaught thing happened. I stopped reading comics. Not then, but right after, when Scarlet Witch fucked everything up, and Civil War, and the Skrull invasion, and all that stuff started happening. And I was like, okay, I'm done. So I'm not picking up any more comic books because they kept killing off the token favorites of mine. My favorite female X-Men, Asian Psylocke. Not British Psylocke, but Asian Psylocke, who are one and the same, just that the British soul is inside the Asian body. And she was hot. But they kept killing her off. So I was like, okay, they're killing off the token Asian. They've killed off the token Russians. They killed off Magik. And they killed off Colossus. They killed off the whole Rasputin bloodline. So I was like, alright, I'm done with this crap. And it was the same thing with like the Guardians of the Galaxy, where my last Guardians of the Galaxy book I picked up, Wolverine's descendant was a badass. But she was evil. And she was trying to get his bones, to get his adamantium bones fused into her so that she could be invincible. And after that, I stopped reading. So I don't know if that ever happened. I just know that it was like the last Guardians of the Galaxy comic I picked up. And like I said, there was a reason. Plus, they said they were canceling it. So, I thought that it was canceled, so I didn't go pick any more up. And it's the same thing with a lot of the independent comics. But we won't go on there. That'll be my next video. But for the record, DC is going to be tearing up the small screen within the year 2016. Flash is coming back. Arrow's coming back. They're getting the new Legends of Tomorrow. Supergirl's being picked up. And I believe Gotham is still running strong, because Gotham and Supergirl are kind of competing with each other. And I'm a pervert. I much rather look at Supergirl than Jim Gordon. Sorry. Not that, I don't like Batman. Batman is my favorite DC comic. I don't read them anymore because of the whole Bane thing, because I kind of stopped after that. And then I picked it up long enough for the Funeral for a Friend crossover and getting rid of Azrael and him in the cybernetic backbone thingy and going back into action as Batman. But then I just kind of like strayed away from it because he was on cartoons. So I'll just keep watching cartoons because the cartoons are more, they twist the stories a little bit, but they're as close to the comic as you could get. And I'm talking about the Batman with the big chin, you know, where they had the old school cars, that Batman. And then when they start like coming on the Cartoon Network and the Legend of the Batman and all this stuff, or Beware the Batman, and when it was on the CW, when it was the WE, that's back on there. Okay, so I'm done with that. Then they had Superman cartoons, and they started taking it off, and then they did like the World's Finest, and they took it off, and then they brought in Young Justice, and just when it was getting good, they gave it a second season, but they jumped it like 5 or 10 years into the future, where Robin was now Nightwing, and Tim Drake came along, and they completely forgot about Jason Peter Todd and all this other stuff, and Aqualad was black, and he became the bad guy, and it was just a good cartoon, but Cartoon Network really didn't let it manifest into its full potential. And the same thing with Beware the Bat, where he had to work with Katana, and it just canceled it. I'm like, come on, DC, you're fucking up, man. Excuse me. So then, while DC's taking over the small screen, Marvel has been kicking ass on the big screen. Which refers me back to a thing I need to mention about Smallville. Smallville was like, it's probably the closest thing they could do with every Superman villain and counterpart, except for I don't know who the hell Pete was, because I never seen a black person in Smallville in the Superboy comics until like somebody had got racial and mentioned it. But you know, hey, Smallville, it's in Kansas. Are there any black people in Kansas? I don't know. I've never met any black people from Kansas. But anyway, so back to Marvel. When Marvel started coming out with like Spider Man and all this stuff, I was in high school when they first started discussing it. By then, the Ninja Turtle movies had blown up and all the other stuff, and the new Ninja Turtles was great. And the trailer for the newest one is going to be awesome, so you guys should probably check it out. Anyway, and same thing with Captain America, the Civil War, and all that. So if they stay true to the form, Civil War is probably not going to have a great ending for Captain America. Sorry. And eventually, everything's going to like by 2020, I think they're gonna have the Infinity War thing or whatever. I'm hoping that's going to be awesome, and I hope it don't stray too far from the comic line, except for the fact that they don't have Quasar and they don't have Adam Warlock movies. But Black Panther's getting a movie, and Quasar and Adam Warlock, I know for sure, are two people that can fuck with the Infinity Stones and don't need the damn gauntlet. So I'm like, okay, but Thanos needs the gauntlet, so he's not as powerful as he thinks he is. But for probably movie purposes, they're probably gonna say he does. He probably can hold the Infinity Stones too. But I know in the Infinity Wars, if you read it, Adam Warlock was the like sole supreme guy or whatever. And I don't know where the hell Hyperion came from. So yeah, I can't really go into it. Something I don't really know about. But as far as like Infinity Wars and all that, I had those comics, and I know for a fact Adam Warlock was the shit with those damn Infinity Stones. I believe it's supposed to be 10 of them actually, and not just like the 8 or whatever that goes into the gauntlet, because there was 2 gauntlets. Adam Warlock had a gauntlet too, but I think he's the one that ended it. But in closing, you know, my heads go out to Marvel and you know and DC, and I'm hoping. Oh yeah, let's extend this a second. Let's not forget about Spawn. I always wanted to see a Wildcats movie. I've always wanted to see a Youngbloods movie, a Cyberforce movie, and a Savage Dragon movie. So for Todd McFarlane and all them, yo, dude, I'm an out of work actor. I know I'm too small to play Savage Dragon, and I know I'll never respawn. But if you need somebody in there to be anybody, like Die Hard and everything from Youngbloods or whatever, Rob Liefeld, I'm down. Plus, you'll put me in that cool ass suit with the shield, and everything will be straight. And then damn it, what the hell? The team that had Battalion on it, stuff like that. Those were great reads for the independent Image comics or whatever. So you guys probably want to go back shot. And Dark Horse, if you can talk to the people and you can get a Batman versus Predator or Superman versus Predator movie going, that'd be fucking awesome. And I want in. Or even better, the RoboCop versus Terminator. If you can get those movies going, that would be awesome because they're great reads, And again, for Dark Horse, if you can make a Next Man movie, I'm down. I want in. I'm an out of work actor anyway, so hey, help me out. But there must be a doctor on set because of my metal hip, just in case. Well, anyway, I want to let everybody know, comic books, is great source material. And if you want to make a good movie and you have the rights to do comic books, you should look into that. And let's go with animated Japanese animation. If you can turn those into live action movies, it would be great. Being that the rumor is, I don't know if it's true, I've seen the commercial, and not just on YouTube, I actually literally seen the commercial one night on the Cartoon Network, that there is an Attack on Titan movie, either made or getting made as we speak, and it's coming. I don't care where I have to go to see that unless I have to buy a trip to Japan or China to go see it, but I'm going to see that movie. Especially since the Cartoon Network isn't showing any more episodes right now. So I've hopefully touched on everything that I wanted to touch on because these things can't be more than 30 something minutes long, and I'm at the 29-minute mark. But I want you all to know that, the comic world is about to explode on the small screen for DC, while the big screen, the movies for Marvel, are kicking ass. But be forewarned for all of you DC fans, they're coming. The Justice League is coming, and the story that I've been told, I don't know if it's true, so we're gonna say it's a rumor, that the guys from the TV shows are leading up to the films. I don't know if they'll be in the films, but they're leading up to the films. And I don't know if all that's true or not. It's just some bullshit some people told me that have a same enthusiasts for films like me. And the thing is, I'm like kind of hoping that if they're gonna have the Flash and them in the TV show transfer over to the movies, because I don't want to see somebody else play the Flash. I don't want to see anybody else play Green Arrow. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, good luck, Ben. He's gonna be Batman. And I was a big Daredevil fan. I still respect Ben Affleck. I'm probably the only person that actually liked the Daredevil movie, but I don't think that it was the movie for Ben Affleck. You know, I don't think he probably ever read a Daredevil comic and he just got the role. You know, most of the time in this business of making movies, it's kind of more like who you know and who's willing to back you. He's a big name actor, so of course they're gonna back him. And hails off to Michael Clark Duncan. Now, Ben Affleck has switched ships from Marvel to DC, and like I said, I like Ben Affleck. I'm not gonna knock him. Just Daredevil wasn't for him. So hopefully, his chiseled jawline and his role as Batman is gonna be ace on top. Now, no matter what anybody else says before I close this out, and everybody's gonna hate me, and they're probably gonna give me the finger, but there has been no better Batman than Michael fucking Keaton, except maybe Adam West. But that was for his time. But for my time and my generation, Michael Keaton was the best. And then I will give smooth running between the guy that played the Dark Knight, because I can't remember his name at the moment, and Val Kilmer. But Val Kilmer also knows real martial arts. So Christian Bale. And I like Christian Bale. He did a damn good job as Batman. So Ben Affleck, you have a lot to live up to. But Michael Keaton will always be the best Batman to me. And then Christian Bale and Val Kilmer, you're just gonna have to duke it out. You know. And George Clooney, he didn't do bad, but I also feel like the way I feel about Ben and Daredevil, excuse me, because I like George Clooney, don't get me wrong. Badass dude. You know, got hot chicks. But I'm not sure if he ever read a Batman comic in his life, but it wasn't a bad movie. And Arnold held it down as Mr. Freeze, if you can believe that. And you know, these are all my personal opinions. I don't hate the actors, but there are no bad actors, so they say they're just bad scripts. But I will tell you this in a nutshell, because clearly I'm not a great actor, or I would fucking be working, even if I didn't have this messed up hip. A movie is what you make of it, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I will say this to all actors who are blessed enough to be working and making these movies for these comic book movies and stuff. Please research your character. Alright? Like I said, I like the Daredevil movie. I just didn't like Ben Affleck as Daredevil. It probably would have worked better if he actually was Bullseye. But I mean, hey, he doesn't. He does the job that they pay him to do. And like I said, it wasn't a bad movie. It just could have been a hell of a lot better, because Elektra like blew that out the box. No, no, don't get me wrong. I like you, Ben. You're cool and everything. But like I said, I don't think you really read a Daredevil comic book, because you didn't. I seen you do better work. You know what I mean? Especially when you guys were the bank robbers and shit. You know I'm not kissing your ass. I'm just telling the truth. Daredevil just like you just didn't have enough intel. No. Or maybe it was the director who didn't read the comic books. You know, you just never know. And it's the same thing, you know, the movie isn't just the actors, it's every aspect of it. You know, locations were great, but the thing about Daredevil is that Daredevil was special in his own way. And the guy that's currently playing him is clearly doing a great job. You know, because I heard they would get another season. And they just started Jessica Jones, but she's not under the title of the Defenders, and I haven't figured out why that is. So, you know, I have her comics. It's under the Defenders. The only female comic of Marvel that I know for sure that was like a lone chick was Dakota North. I think that's what it was called, Dakota North. She's a like an archaeologist motorcycle chick. She doesn't have powers or anything, but she's basically like Laura Croft, but she's badass. And you know, so yeah, it kind of depends on how deep in the closet I have to go for these books. But you know, as as far as like George Clooney and Ben Affleck, those two movies just probably wasn't their cup of tea. You know, it's not that they're bad actors. It's just that all right. I don't think George Clooney ever read a Batman book. You know, it's just like okay, I'm the Batman. I'm a big time actor. It's gonna sell money. You know, it's gonna make money. So I believe that's kind of how they got swapped into that. Same thing with Ben. You know, I think it more or less that the producers got them because they were big name actors. And the thing about hiring someone like me, unknown, we're gonna go into overachievement mode because you know once you're an established actor, it's a whole lot different than when you're like me, where you're just fucking hungry. You know, and an established actor doesn't really have to work that hard to sell a film, or at least that's what they think. And as an established actor, you know, everybody wants you, so they're gonna do everything they can to pull you in. And then when the movie goes fuck, you know, okay, now they're gonna blame the established actor. So like I said, it's really not the actors; it's every aspect of the film. It's the location, it's the direction, it's how much the people know about the movie before they go in. And you know, if you see all the trailers of Daredevil, you've seen all the movie. And then you get to like the emotional scenes, you know, it's kind of like I wasn't expecting that, and you know, it's kind of like it was. And like I said, you know, Ben Affleck's a great fucking actor. He just wasn't meant to be Daredevil. And it's the same thing, like I said, with George Clooney. He's a great fucking actor. He just wasn't meant to be Batman. And basically, the movie relied on Arnold to carry it kind of through because no one would thought Arnold could play Mr. Freeze and pull it off, and he did. And you know, best line in there: "Take two of these and call me in the morning." No, and not that I'm ever gonna shut down Arnold because my favorite movie from Arnold of all time will always be Commando. All right, and not just because I'm a former soldier, but you know, Commando was the shit. You know, Arnold as Commando, he was like the dad that everybody wanted. You know, yeah, I want to get captured just so my dad could fuck some shit up. No, okay, cool. But you know, as an actor, a failed actor. Now I'm speaking specifically on myself before I end this. I have struggled at casting calls. I have struggled at being an extra on films, and I found out why. It's not so much that I suck as an actor, it's just that when they go on these casting calls, you're not guaranteed a career. You're guaranteed that if you match the look on the list that they're looking for, or if you're like completely unusual looking, doors are opened. Where the only damn thing unusual about me is that I'm a black guy with slightly straighter hair than most people. But I'm also a multicultural person. So if they're looking for an Indian, the ones with the feathers, not the dots, I could play that. But if they're not making a historical movie, then it's like not gonna happen. Because when they did Pocahontas or whatever with Colin Farrell, you know, Bullseye from Daredevil, I had just missed the casting call. And they had another casting call for something else, and where they fucked up at, they didn't do the kids and the adults on different days. They did everything the same day, and we drove to Richmond and we stayed down there for like 8 hours and never got seen. And then it's like, well, we're not supposed to be here on Monday, and it is now Sunday. So if you want to stay here until like Monday morning, we'll be seeing people all night. Now, mind you, we'd been there from 7 in the morning, and we stood out in the line and didn't get into the hotel till like 8 at night. And then it was like a Z of people, not C, but people in a C forming a Z, and that's just downstairs. These guys who have been in there longer than me hadn't even got upstairs to be seen. The lobby's downstairs, but they were seeing people in an upstairs lobby, and they hadn't even got through half the children yet. And I'm like, what the fuck is this movie about? Then they had another one where they came to my hometown of Charlottesville, and they had it at the Jefferson School, and the lady's like, you know what? Um, what do you mix with? I was like, huh? You know, it just came out of the blue. She's like, you like your part Native American? I said, yeah, I am. She's like, the characters we're looking for are really not Native American, and you don't look like you're black. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm half. It's like, yeah, but you don't have the look. And so then I finally went to like the last casting call I went to was in like 2000 and somewhere between 2007 and 2006, and they had it at the Omni. So when I got there, I explained to the guy, it's like, so why are you here? I was like, dude, this is the last casting call I'm ever coming on. He's like, why is that? I said, because I'm not successful at YouTube. I'm not successful at these casting calls. He's like, how many of these things have you been going to? I said, man, I've been going to these things since I was 20 years old. I'm 30 something now. He's like, you're in your 30s? You don't look at your 30s. Said, trust me, I'm in my 30s. And this is the very last casting call that I'm coming to because whatever it is they're looking for, I don't have it. No, and it's not about me being able to act. And I've learned that it's not about me being able to act or not. Is that when they send you on these casting calls, they're looking for a specific look, and some people have it, and their careers take off. I'm not one of those people, clearly. Yeah, because I've been to like 20 of these damn things, and I'm like, okay, like everyone that's come to the Sheraton, everyone that's come to the Hampton, everyone that's come to the Cavalier, everyone that's ever come to whatever hotel that it's come to, I'm not what they're looking for, and that's cool. It's really not so much about race as it's more about you know what they're actually looking for. And so I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing wrong? And it's not what I'm doing. Oh, come on, evac is a word, you bastards. It's an army word. Son of a bitch. Sorry. you know, let's try Eva. Really? That's a name. Let's see if Faye works. Thank you, motherfucker. Anyway, if you don't have a specific look when you go to these casting calls, dream's over. No, 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 collect $200 and all that crap. Dream's over. So you go home, you cry a little bit, and you're like, but I can act. Doesn't matter. They're not looking for the look you have when you get there. You're not gonna get it done. And I will start a whole video on that. So closing the comic book thing. Thank you very much.